Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. 2020 was a record year in precious metals manipulation crackdown. Let's explore! That's right, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission is in the spotlight here as gold silver spoofing charges led the way in a record year for the CFTC. This comes to us from kitco.com. A very interesting recap of what's been going on in this area. And before we continue, make sure that you, if you're so inclined, to press that like button. Certainly does help get the word out there for the channel. Certainly is appreciated. Last month, J.P. Morgan Chase was hit with a record fine of nearly $1 billion for manipulating precious metals markets. But they are far from being a category on their own. The past year, the precious metals market was once again seeing an unprecedented focus on manipulation. Tuesday, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission announced that the fiscal year 2020, which ended on September the 30th, was a record year in enforcement in the agency's 45-year history. Wow. Some of the highlights for the CFTC in this past year included 115 enforcement actions. The agency said it has also been aggressively pursuing investigation as the nation remains firmly in the grip of the COVID-19 pandemic. We are tough on those who break the rules, and this historic year only further underscores this point, CFTC Chairman Heath Tarbert said in a press release. The case statistics alone are impressive, but the fact that the enforcement program was this successful even during a pandemic is even more remarkable. In the midst of a pandemic, when volatility in the market is high, it is even more important that our team work tirelessly to preserve market integrity and pursue those who break the rules, added Director of Enforcement James McDonald. J.P. Morgan made the top of this year's highlighted reel after being fined $920 million for spoofing gold and silver markets from 2008 to 2016. Before J.P. Morgan, the CFTC fined the Bank of Nova Scotia more than $127 million for spoofing and manipulating precious metals markets and providing false statements. Outside of the precious metals markets, the CFTC fined proprietary trading firm Tower Research Capital $67 million for spoofing markets and engaging in manipulative and deceptive schemes. Meanwhile, Deutsche Bank AG was fined $10 million for failing to meet numerous swap data reporting requirements. An Australian-based proprietary trading firm, Propex Derivatives Pty Ltd, was fined $1 million for spoofing and manipulating S&P 500 futures contracts. So spoofing is an illegal, high-frequency. They can be filled. The orders, a high-frequency trading strategy where bids and offers are placed on an exchange and then canceled before they can be filled. The orders are placed with no intention of them ever being filled. And so that's kind of when it was on the focus, and they've actually utilized the RICO statutes in order to do it. So essentially that's racketeering and to some degree, shape or form, how they want to make that happen. Now, keep in mind, and this goes to tell you, most of you know my feelings on manipulation, and I do love to report on these stories because, well, it does happen, and I believe that it is happening because, well, the facts bear the case that it is occurring. But maybe the proper way for me to say it is micro manipulation. In other words, they manipulate for selfish reasons, these people do, and when it's spread enough widely, and it occurs not just in the precious metal markets, but in every market. But look at the dates here that it's talking about for this J.P. Morgan being fined that much money for spoofing gold and silver for 8 years between 2008 and 2016. Well, we saw what happened in those years, and what happened after 2016. The prices went down. But the prices were all over the place from 2008 to 2016, from very, very low to record highs In fact, silver never got up that high since then. So the spoofing is about making these trades, whether they're up or down, because it's all about making money. You can make money on the price going up as well as down. And that is kind of my whole point, which is why this macro manipulation, or this cabal, and this vast conspiracy that transcends any single bank or any single big bank, and even within one bank, I think is something that it's very difficult to really prove that it has that much effect, more so than the natural market forces, because basically with the manipulation that's going on, even if it's widespread within one organization like JP Morgan, in fact, some very high level officials were charged with this and encouraged it. It's something that is done for their own personal gain, and even within the organization. So they're working against themselves and are working against the overall purpose and strategy, I think, when they're pocketing millions of dollars doing this. And that's really what it's about. It's about enriching themselves, not about holding silver down for some grand cause, so to speak. And even as such, the natural market forces are far more powerful, especially given that situation. Now, could they, in a sense, work together to do that? It'd probably be very difficult for them to organize such a cabal, such a conspiracy, is my guess, without raising the radar of regulators out there. But nonetheless, on this level, though, that does enrich them. It's occurring, and this micro manipulation that moves these markets up and down is a serious thing, and it's illegal. And my feeling is that fine is not enough. I think they should have been fined more, and I believe that those who were caught doing it, especially those who were in management positions, should get jail time as well as the fines. We should be very, very tough on them. The fines themselves, and I believe those people should not work in these banks doing and trading and have the ability to trade again. That would be a very, very, very stiff penalty if there's no jail time, or be many years before they can work in these and doing that again. But nonetheless, people will say, well, hey, look at the people that were hurt by this. Well, hey, if the prices are low and you could take advantage of dips for that particular day, then you were benefited by the manipulators. And if the prices are high and you need to sell, well, you were benefited by the manipulators. However, if you need to sell when the prices are low, then you obviously are hurt by the manipulation that has occurred for that particular day or days, that it has an effect on the prices. But nonetheless, it's interesting and fascinating, and it just goes to show you sometimes government is doing a good thing in cracking down, and law enforcement agencies, especially with this commission here, are doing a very good thing, and it's about time, because really there should be none of this happening on any level, micro or macro, for sure. And so that's kind of where we are at. But you know what? No matter what, and I know people have differing opinions on this, but one thing we can certainly agree on is once you get the silver and gold in your hands, the only way it's going to be manipulated is if you touch it and feel it and put your oils from your skin on the metals, Oops, I dropped my coin. Let me pick it up. That's the only way that it can be manipulated, or if you melt it down or what have you. A physical manipulation is the only way that it can be done after the fact. But the metal itself, and that's what most of us understand about gold and silver. The price may fluctuate, but the value, as we understand it, remains constant. And as long as you hold on to that fundamental truth, really everything else is just a conversation. And so, no matter what we agree or disagree on, the fundamentals are sound. Gold and silver are money. They have been for thousands of years and will continue to be, even if they're not traded as currency for exchange of goods and services. They are money, and we will continue to accumulate them and acquire them as such. And because in the long run, they will serve to preserve our wealth. They will and also in the interim, provide as a hedge against economic instability. And Lord knows we are in uncertain times as of the recording of this video. And so we'll see where things play out as the price moves one way or the other. And depending on how you feel as what causes that price to move one way or the other. One thing we know is gold and silver shall remain constant. And that's the beautiful thing about these metals. And that's something that we can certainly agree on. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Post your thoughts below. Fascinating indeed, and encouraging, and good news to hear that the CFTC has had a record year. And I hope that next year they will continue to be aggressive in going after manipulation, because we want to see the markets move completely and every single day and every single minute and maybe even every single second with high frequency trading based off of natural market forces and what is going on in the world and in our country today. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.